Happy Sunday, everybody. Come on in to Act Now Live. I'm Dr. Natalie Phillips.
Hi, everyone. I'm Regeanie Corona. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. All right. So let's talk about, let's go over logistics and then we'll head into some of our topic here. So Reg, I'll have you kind of talk a little bit about our YouTube channel here.
All right, everyone. We are on YouTube. And if you can't make it to our live show here on Facebook or catch the replay on Facebook, or if you know someone who you'd like to share our show with, go to YouTube. You'll find us under Act Now and subscribe. Please subscribe. That way you'll get notified of things that we have. Well, subscribe and hit the notifications little bell. That way you'll get notified when we have new videos up. Man, I feel like it's hard to come out today.
Yay. And we are loving your guys' pictures and posts on getting our book. We still get them kind of filtering in. So guess what? It is a great Christmas gift for whoever you're thinking about too, in our movement. And so, if you're thinking about somebody, if you don't know what to get them, our book is available on Amazon. So don't forget to support us there. 50% of the profits that we're making, we're donating to a charity of choice every year. So this is going to keep going on, as we do this. So for those of you, thank you guys so much for supporting us and purchasing our book on Amazon. So today we're going to talk a little bit more about just being thankful, because it has been Thanksgiving weekend. I know it's been a different weekend for many people because you're not kind of doing some of the more common, things that you do when you get together with friends or family, and everybody's trying to stay safe and healthy and responsible. But how was your Thanksgiving, Reg? What did you do?
My Thanksgiving was good. It was small. It was just those in our immediate bubble, which was really just my husband and I and my two kids. And the rest of our kids were in their households. And so we didn't get to spend time with them. But it was a good day. My daughter really wanted to have Thanksgiving dinner. So I cooked Thanksgiving dinner, but I tried to keep it small, but keeping it small on Thanksgiving is always hard. Anyway, before I ask you, how about yours? I want to wish you a happy birthday on the show. It is your birthday, and I just want to say I'm thankful for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a pretty uneventful birthday. I just wanted to absolutely do nothing. So it feels so good to have no plans whatsoever. And I'm loving it. I thought I was going to go walk the dogs, but I thought, I don't think so. I did a little bit of work here and there. But again, it's like, all my choice. I kind of wander around and decide what I want to do. Thanksgiving for us was different as well. So, it's funny because I used to think Thanksgiving was all about keeping up with different cultures. And I wanted to ask you this too, because you had told me about, how your daughter wanted Thanksgiving dinner. And I was going to ask you, what do you normally have if you don't have like Thanksgiving dinner? Like, do you have something different that you make besides like the turkey, stuffing, things like that? Because you had said that your daughter wanted more a traditional Thanksgiving dinner.
No, it's just that I don't normally cook, or I cook maybe because everyone here in the house likes when I make a ham. So I'll make a ham and maybe sweet potatoes. I make a sweet potato casserole that everyone loves. But normally I don't cook because we're going to my in-laws' house, and they do a really big Thanksgiving meal for all of the kids and, their spouses and all the grandkids. And so, and I actually like cooking on Thanksgiving. I like having Thanksgiving dinner at my house, but I've sort of relegated to my in-laws are much older, and I know that it's something that's really important to them to have the kids at their house. And so I've just, taken a back seat to that and said, okay, I'll go with the program on that. So normally I don't cook. The last few years I haven't really cooked Thanksgiving. So that's why my daughter was like, I really want to do Thanksgiving dinner. So
Yeah, our Thanksgivings have been all over the place. I grew up in a home where my mom always took people in if they didn't have a place to go. So it was people from our
Um,
church, that might have been single or they may have been visiting. If you're just joining in, thank you guys so much for joining us on this Sunday. But we're talking about just Thanksgiving traditions and how they look maybe a little bit different. We're going to get to our topic in a little bit here. But this sort of, I think, leads into our
it
topic. But
does.
so my mom was always about other people. If there was anybody kind of around that didn't have a place to go, she'd kind of scoop them up and bring them in. And I remember as a young kid, there was always somebody new at our table. We started doing that when we were living here in Colorado. We would take athletes and that didn't have a place to go, because it's usually basketball season, right? And so they don't go home and they don't have a place to go. So different coaches would take in different athletes. If my mother-in-law was not visiting, I ended up stopping cooking. So with the traditions and everything about, making a turkey and all the different sides, I was okay just switching it up and ordering food. And then my husband would travel during a Thanksgiving. So sometimes either we would be with him, so we'd be eating hotel food or whatever the team would order, or it would just be myself and the kids. And so I'd be just ordering a little bit because I just didn't want to make all those dishes.
Yeah.
And so it's been interesting. I kind of am like my mom, where I would take people in, but at the same time, I don't give into I have to have a certain tradition. So if you're just joining us, tell us what you do. We would love to find out. Are you someone who loves to cook and makes everything, no matter how many numbers you have coming into your house? I mean, because this was a different Thanksgiving for so many people. Are you somebody that orders and, likes to have just a few things? So, this kind of leads into I know some people also have traditions going around the table saying what you're thankful for, right? I know that we did this, I think over Christmas, we had a player over, and it was so interesting because we've had him over for Thanksgiving and for Christmas. And we got him some, small little stocking stuffer gifts and things like that. And we went around the table at Christmas and we sort of had that thing like, oh, well, tell us what your most, favorite memory or whatever, what you're thankful for. And the kids went around, and when we got to him, I remember we had a hard time finding this hat that he had wanted, really hard time, nowhere in the vicinity in any malls. We had to drive far to get this hat. And by the time we found it, I was almost mumbling under my breath, really upset, going, this is ridiculous. And then they jacked the prices up, and it was just so ridiculous, And I remember when we came around to him, he said, you know what, this Christmas was the best Christmas I had. And this was the best. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was crying. And I was like, that was so touching. And it makes me think about, when you're asked that question about what you're thankful for, a lot of people kind of think about talking about who they're thankful for, or something they've experienced, or something about external, something on the outside, not necessarily about yourself. And I have a friend, Lance Allred. He's a former NBA player for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's the first deaf NBA player, actually. He posted something that made me think about maybe we should kind of talk about this on our show today. But he had posted something about, during Thanksgiving, be thankful also for your own journey and where you are. And I thought that was such a great topic to think about, because I feel like we don't stop and pause and think about ourselves and how, we had a big part to play in all of this, of where we are right now. And so we wanted to talk a little bit more about just being thankful for where you are in your own journey. And we've got some takeaway points as well. So, the first one is just kind of being thankful for where you are right now. And, I feel like this sometimes has a responsibility of yourself and the decisions that you make. And, yes, the people around you. And we talk about that a lot because we talk about accountability. But you're the one that's taking the action. And so, being thankful for where you are is huge. And I'll let Reg talk about this, and then I'll put something up that we have here that we're going to share.
Yeah. When you and I were talking about this before, one of the things that I brought up and mentioned was that I've said it before, how we need to keep our focus on our own mountain and not look at someone else's mountain. So it's our journey, and being thankful for where we are in our own journey, not comparing to someone else, not, sitting in the space of thinking about how I'm not good enough, or I don't have enough, or I just sort of, we always say don't have blinders on, but in this case, put the blinders on and just focus on your lane, your path, your journey. This is a picture we talked about, and I'll let you talk about the picture more, but focusing on where you are and being thankful for where you are in your journey.
Yeah, I love this picture of Michael Phelps in the bottom, and we cannot remember who the competitor was here on the top. So if you're watching and you know who the competitor is, let us know. But I love this because Michael Phelps is so like in tune to his own lane, exactly like what you said, Reg. He's not comparing, who's beside him. And I know some of it, as an athlete, you almost have to, right? But at the same time, if you really want to win, like you have to focus. And I believe like that guy never caught up to Michael Phelps because he was so concerned about where he was compared to him. And I absolutely just, I don't know, I just love that picture. I use it all the time. But it's exactly like what you said. I mean, a lot of people won't understand your journey and what you're working on, and maybe some of the different things that you're working on as well. But it doesn't matter. If you stay focused, you're going to hit that finish line, and it's okay. I think that you're the only person that may understand that, right? And that you keep focused and you're not comparing yourself to the people around you. So I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. The second thing that we talked about, that we wanted to talk about, is to be thankful for what you did get done in 2020. I know that there has been like this huge, oh my gosh, like I cannot wait till 2020 is over. I did this shameful brag on one of my audiology groups this past week, because what I did was I calculated all my numbers from 2019 to 2020 versus 2020. And the numbers in hearing aid sales, which is what we were calculating, right? And I didn't add November or December in yet. And my numbers for 10 months are almost equal. And in fact, the profit is a little bit higher because I worked on negotiating in the beginning of the year. The profit is higher and my numbers are about equal in 10 months of 2020 than 2019. So, comparing numbers and being thankful for what you did get done in 2020. Oh my gosh. I mean, I shared that with my colleague. I shared that with the owner. And I was just like, COVID hit a lot of people, but we actually did better than 2019. And even if we didn't do better and we were equal, I think that there's still something to say about that too, because so many businesses, took a hit and took a stall sometimes, right? And you could only have a certain percentage of people in your office. And our office closed for, 10 days as well during 2020. So, even though there were setbacks in 2020, we want you to focus on what you did actually get done in 2020. How about you, Reg?
Yeah. For me, actually, we did better in 2020 than we've done in the past year. So in terms of revenue, it ended up being about the same because, I run a nonprofit. And so some of the grants that we had received in previous years actually went away because they were either redirecting the focus to COVID specific things, or we had one grant that we would receive from a celebrity singer, and he has a foundation. And so he wasn't able to go out and do his concerts. And so therefore the money for the foundation didn't come in, and that affected our revenue. But we did a pivot and we started charging some of our partners for services that we hadn't charged before. My board had been saying we really need to charge for it, and we had been looking for ways to do that. And then finally, when COVID hit, it changed the nature of the way we were doing business, and it changed the need. And so the partners that we had were actually willing to pay for some of the services, whereas before they weren't. So there were things that we pivoted on and we were able to do and get done this year that we hadn't been able to get done before. And I say we because I run a nonprofit organization, but mostly this year it's been me. And so I've been the one delivering the services. I've been the one managing the technology and moving into more of a online presence than in person. And yes, it's been harder, but there's been so much more that we've been able to accomplish and set up for accomplishing next year. And I picked up contracts. We added earned income and consulting.
Yeah, you got a lot of clients and contracts that you haven't had maybe in 2019 as well.
Right. And I've gotten referral for us to do more over the next few months as well. And I was supporting things that were in other states. So Chicago, North Carolina, it's been different, but it's been really good. And so those were things we got done in 2020 that I didn't even anticipate.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I think it goes back to mindset. And I know that we talked a lot about mindset and the growth mindset. You know, we had talked about this in a training that we had done as well, where you look at, you know, whether or not you're going to cave because some of the things that have changed, or you say, I'm going to take it on and maybe shift a little bit and learn some new things. And in the process, this might help me grow, but I have to do it anyway in order to kind of, you know, shape shift a little bit with whatever's going on in our world. And so it comes back to the mindset and the motivation to kind of get you going. And so for those of you that are watching as well, you know, think about like what you did this year, you know, think about those types of things versus, you know, what a bummer year this is, if that's kind of the mentality that we're kind of passing around to each other as well. But be thankful for what you did get done in 2020, because I think that's huge, you know, and I think that's going to help you in 2021.
It is. And I just want to add, 2020 is not over yet, right? So there are still things that you can get done in 2020. You know, that idea that you've been holding on to, take it out of here and put it on paper and start to look at what would it take to make that idea a reality in 2021. So 2020, there's still time to close 2020 really strong. And the other thing I wanted to say was, outside of what you and I did individually, we released our book in 2020. So we will always remember that while the year was a very tough year for many people, and me included, there are some things that have happened, but there were some major milestones that were reached in 2020. And our book was one of them. And we have had impact in just a short amount of time. Our book and the conversations that we're having have had impact on people, and they are taking action and moving towards things that they were afraid to take action on before. To me, that's huge, and that is memorable.
Yeah. And for us too, it's always been about that one person. Like if we could just reach one person, and it's been more, so we've been celebrating, but at the same time, initially the reason why we wanted to do the book was because if we could just reach that one person that was there just like us, you know, that we're able to help, then it was worth it, right? So, all right. And then the last point that we do have is, again, to be thankful for you. And that's one of the things that I think a lot of the times it's easy to think about why you're thankful for somebody else, but to focus. And maybe this means that you have to sit in quiet, you know, or in space where you are in solitude to be able to be thankful for you. Maybe you have to stop and think about what people are saying about you and start accepting it and believing it as well. So this is something that we want to bring up in, you know, just being thankful and taking the time to being thankful for your own unique journey, is to be thankful for yourself as well.
Yeah, we each have value, and we have purpose. And we have so much to deliver to the world if we get out of our own way. And it starts with recognizing that you are valuable. And in order to acknowledge and recognize that you're valuable, you have to be thankful for yourself. You have to be thankful for your life. You have to be thankful for whatever it is that makes you unique. And sometimes we get caught up in going back to the comparison, or going back or thinking about what society says we should be. We get caught up in that, and we don't think that we are enough. We don't, and that goes back to the discussion of value. We question our value, but we've got to be thankful for who we are. And even in our uniqueness, it's oftentimes in our uniqueness. When we boldly accept that and live in our uniqueness, that's when we can deliver the best of ourselves to the world.
Yep.
So,
yep. And I want to highlight that too. I know that we have had many discussions about this, and I wanted to also point out that you're not alone. You're not alone if you feel like you don't have enough value to take your idea forward, or to take action on it, or that it's not as important, or, there are a lot of people that are out there, including ourselves, that's where we were. And one of those things, I mean, it's one of the common threads that we're finding in some of the conversations that we're having, right? And so we want to say you're not alone. We're all in this together. Being an action taker is having that, I guess, comfort zone first around people that are like you, but then at the same time, don't, go back to that same picture where you're kind of comparing yourself to the next person in the next lane near you. But know and live in the fact that you have your own unique story, and out of that is going to come your own experience, and that particular, I guess, shape of what's going to come out is going to be apparent, and it's going to be unbelievable because you're going to find out that that exact thing that makes you who you are is what's going to help somebody else. It's crazy. I mean, I'm just telling you from experience, but it's crazy to think that you alone can actually help or impact somebody else. But I'm telling you that you will be able to as well. So, yeah. So we are so thankful for the past Thanksgiving weekend, whatever you did to celebrate. We're thankful for all of you who tune in and to engage with us. Come join our private Facebook group where we dive a little bit deeper into some things weekly, or join us on one of our Action Takers Network calls. We have the next one coming up, I believe it's December 16th. So it's the third Wednesday.
Third Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So look us up and find that out as well. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and happy Thanksgiving, and be thankful for you.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
See you later.